You can actually build out your own lead generation systems, lead gen levers as we call them, and not pay referral fees or pay for leads. Some of them are like, no, I just want to pay 30 to 40% at closing. And I do the math with them. And it's like, let's say a $10,000 commission check. And let's say you could get 2 closings per month from the Ideal Agent or Homelight, or, there's like dozens of them at this point. Let's say you think this, that, I'm happy to pay 30% at closing because it doesn't cost me anything. Okay, if you could get 2 closings per month, paying 30% of a $10,000 commission check, that's $6,000 per month. 2 times 3,000, 6,000 per month. That's $72,000 per year. You are willing to pay someone to install the systems in their business so they can sell you those leads for 5 times what they would cost for you to do it yourself. You just gotta do the work. Do you ever wonder how some real estate agents are able to scale their business, beyond 1 or 2 or 3 or even 4 or 5 homes per month? Well, it comes down ultimately to the systems they've installed in their business. Now, I know this is not like the most exciting thing for you to hear or understand necessarily, but today I want to go through the 4 pillars if you want to disconnect the time you put in your business to the money you make. And I'm talking about making $250, $500, $1,000 per hour. Every hour you put into your real estate business, you're getting that amount of money out. These are the 4 pillars. There's no way around it. Now, I will say the selfish motivation here is that some of you will look at this and say, this is a lot of crap to do. I'm not sure that I have it in me to install all of this in my business. I did a ChatGPT query for another video, and I just asked the question, tell me all the things a real estate agent does. There was a full 50 to 60 things, like legit things you have to do in order to put the pieces together and do all the tasks that you need to do on the daily, on the weekly, to build enough momentum where you're making an unreasonable amount of money in a reasonable amount of time. That is the essence of what I want to help you accomplish here. We help agents build this out in a 90-day build out. It's 13 weeks actually, which is 91 days. And if that's you and you know that this is what you need, just go to $1,000,000agentmethod.com. There's no hard sell or anything like that. It's just a look into your business. We'll ask a few questions. And if it's a fit, we'll talk about it. If it's not, that's fine as well. This video here is going to give you value no matter what. These are the things that you need to implement in your business if you are going to scale, okay? So the first one, and this is, you would think this is the end all be all for every real estate agent, and we talk to hundreds of agents, per month, and every agent that comes into our world, they're looking for leads. Most of them are paying Zillow. Most of them are paying exorbitant referral fees at closing. And some of them are happy when we actually tell them that you can install these lead gen levers, and we have 12 total, 2 we require our members to install, and I'll get into that in a second. But when we go through that, you can actually build out your own lead generation systems, lead gen levers as we call them, and not pay referral fees or pay for leads. Some of them are like, no, I just want to pay 30 to 40% at closing. And I do the math with them. And it's like, let's say a $10,000 commission check. And let's say you could get 2 closings per month from one of the sources like the Ideal Agent or Homelight, or, there's like dozens of them at this point, which is just an admission that they're a better marketer than you. So our approach is for you to install the system so you're generating organic inbound high quality buyer and settle leads. But do the math on, let's say you think this, that, I'm happy to pay 30% at closing because it doesn't cost me anything. Okay, if you could get 2 closings per month, paying 30% of a $10,000 commission check, that's $6,000 per month. 2 times 3,000, 6,000 per month. That's $72,000 per year. You are willing to pay someone to install the systems in their business so they can sell you those leads for 5 times what they would cost for you to do it yourself, right? Our economic model supports way less than 10% of your overall gross commission income will go toward leveraged lead generation, as we call it. So this is the first pillar. This is where everything starts. This is the most sexy part of what we teach. Everything else from this point gets a little less sexy. So that is the warning. But you're not even going to really understand. The last one is where everything comes together. And that's where you get the most leverage in your business, pillar 4. So make sure you don't click off the video. So pillar number 1, leverage lead generation. There are 2 non-negotiables here. If you come into our world, these first two, Database 60 Touch and the Agent Brand Authority Builder, we just know that these work. And we don't know of agents that are massively successful that don't have a database that crushes it, and they don't have a digital footprint that is leveraged in a way where there's business coming from their Google reviews, from their content that they put out, from their social media platforms and whatnot. So Database 60 Touch Blueprint, we will start wherever you are. If you have no CRM, we will tell you exactly how to build a database. If you already have a CRM, we'll tell you how to clean it up, and we'll tell you how to double it. Roughly 10% of your database with this system installed will yield a transaction. And you may say, I already have a touch system. I pay this company the whatever, and I send out emails. And you should be getting 10% of people that know, like, and trust you should turn into deals when it's properly installed. We have members doing 7 figures on this one lead gen lever. So unless you're doing 7 figures consistently, you haven't cracked the code on the Database Touch Blueprint. I would just say that. Agent Brand Authority Builder. There's a right way and a wrong way to expand your digital footprint. Right? I did another YouTube video where I went through how we use Google reviews, very simple script to get people to give you Google reviews, where you can generate business 1 to 2 deals per month just by having, social proof online. So that's just like one of the 12 things we'll do in Agent Brand Authority Builder. Then in our world, in the 13 weeks, in the $1 Million Agent Method, which is this 13-week build out, we'll help you install 2 other lead generation levers. Now, I want you to think about a lead generation lever. I thought about these in a way where if I was going to mess around with installing a marketing system, which is a lead generation lever, if I was going to install one of these in my business, I had to be really confident that it could ultimately lead to 50 transactions per year for each lead generation lever. So that's why the first 2, we know they can get agents. We have agents doing 50 deals, 100 deals, 200 deals from their database. We have agents doing, we had an agent take 30 listings in 90 days just doing Facebook Lives, right? So we know that what we teach works on these 2. But I want you to have the mindset that each of your lead gen levers has to produce multiple transactions per month. Now, of course, when you install them, and let's say you're only at 1 transaction every other month or 1 transaction per month, you're going to install these lead gen levers, and they'll need some time to take hold and to generate leads, and then you have nurture systems, which I'll get to in a second, and ultimately bring in closings. Our expired system, we had one of our new members actually implemented our expired system and listed inside of the 13 weeks, closed on 2 of them, but listed 3 homes, I think 4 actually, for $2.7 million worth of volume. Do the quick math on that. I think that's like $75,000 of gross commission income. And that is not even with the database, not even with the Agent Brand Authority Builder. Our FSBO system, we've got an awesome open house system, a motivated seller system, a new construction system, a yard marketing system, and like 4 or 5 others. 12 lead gen levers in total. But if you're going to do this on your own, you better be building out systems that run at scale, essentially, meaning that you're not having to tinker with this all the time, right? You set up your database, you feed it regularly, and we have, methods and systems and processes around that. Same thing with social media. You shouldn't be messing around and scrolling on social media all day. Your expired system should run like clockwork. Now, this is inbound leads that are coming in. Same thing with FSBOs. We have an outbound FSBO system that's pretty good, but we have inbound and outbound. So the whole point here is that you need to have a steady flow of high quality inbound buyer and seller leads. And if you don't, you're not in the game. You're not in the game of business. If you don't know where your next lead is coming from, let alone your next consultation or your conversations that you're having daily with potential would-be buyer and sellers, you're not in the game. And this is the heaviest lift in our 90-day implementation. So you need to focus on leveraged lead generation if you're going to have a chance at scaling your business. The second pillar is what we call the appointment setting process. Two parts here. And both you've heard of. Most agents are a 2 or 3 out of 10 on the appointment setting process because this is not that exciting. 90% of folks that you'll generate a lead up here, even your next door neighbor, they're not ready to go right now. So you need to put them into some sort of nurture sequence, and you need to have the scripts to qualify those appointments. So you don't waste their time, you don't waste your time. The whole point here is that the 90% of folks that aren't ready to go when you generate a lead, you're going to put them in a nurture sequence where they're getting valuable content from you. And we have a lead management protocol that you'll follow as well, which is part of this process. They will be pre-sold on working with you. You will lock them in. Even if they're a year or 2 years out, it's fully leveraged, the lead nurture sequences that we use, the lead management protocol. Then we've got scripts by every lead source, including your sphere, including how to get Google reviews. And then ultimately you need to qualify appointments, and everything needs to be step by step. Arguably, this is not so sexy, but 90% of your income is made from folks that aren't ready to go today. And you basically build a moat around them so no other agent's going to touch them because you're providing such valuable content over time. The third pillar is consultation frameworks. Now here you're going to say, well, I know how to meet with a buyer and secure that business. I'm talking about viewing your business as a true business where maybe you're not the one doing the consultations. Maybe you want to go on a 3-week vacation where you're still taking listings and working with buyers because you've got a couple agents back home that are running the systems that you've built, right? My challenge for you is to think bigger than what traditional success looks like in the real estate industry. The reason I was able to go from 27 homes my first 10 months to 44 homes with an admin to then 58 to then 118 with a couple buyer agents to then 178 to 248. The year I did 248 was 2012. That was my 5th year in real estate. I did 1 transaction out of 248. Now, everything I've taught you and everything we teach in $1 Million Agent Method really has nothing to do with building a team. If you were to decide to bring agents into your world, you would give them a platform where you could instantly sell a ton of real estate and not give away a ton of commission to do it. So I want you to have that mindset. What if you did want to bring in a virtual assistant or an admin? What if you did want to bring in a showing agent because you don't want to work every evening and weekend, right? So consultation frameworks, the point here is that at scale, I want you to be able to sign 80% of the prospects that you meet with at your commission if you're listing a home at your list price, including admin fees. Admin fees just make the whole business a whole lot easier because you can basically offset a virtual assistant or a local licensed admin, a closing coordinator, a listing coordinator, a marketing coordinator. You can get all of your leveraged client care, which is the 4th pillar I get into here in a second. In our world, every swipeable document you could possibly need, everything is built out in Canva or Google Slides. Basically, just click on logos and change things out. Very simple. We had a new member, newer to real estate, and he was going on a listing appointment. And his coach said, just print out the listing presentation and the seller guide. And we have like 10 different guides for different purposes at different points in both the buyer journey and the seller journey. We've invested probably over $10,000 to design these, and our members get to swipe them into their business. So he printed it out. Actually, I think he just printed out the seller guide and not even the listing, the actual marketing presentation, and didn't even replace the logos. So it had placeholder Real Estate B School logos everywhere. Just printed it out, signed at full commission, including a transaction fee. And so a lot of agents overthink this stuff, where basically just follow the process. That's not exactly the process we would have wanted. And he was just newer to real estate, so we work with agents from all different stages of growth. And basically there are 4 distinct stages real quick to get from, let's say you're a 6-figure agent, you want to become a 7-figure agent. There are 2 steps, 250,000 GCI annual and 500,000 GCI annual. And then the leap from 500 to $1 million is not actually that complicated. And it's all with these 4 pillars. Okay, so you need to have buyer and seller presentations. You need to give them the same way, the same time. the pre-list process, the pre-buyer appointment process. All your templates have to be ready to go, buyer packets, listing packets, pre-list packets, all of it, right? You need to have a process that you follow, and the process is what wins the day. Ultimately, your freedom, and I'm talking your ability to go from 1 transaction per month to 4 transactions per month to even 8 transactions per month. And some of you are thinking like, I barely can get by on 1 transaction per month. I feel your pain. I was there. I worked well, just take the extremes of my example. My first 10 months in real estate, I sold 27 homes. So roughly 3 homes per month, my first 10 months. And that was me going from zero, like starting out for zero miles per hour, selling almost 3 homes per month. Fast forward to 2000, I think it was like my 6th full year in the business. We did 453 sides. I had 10 agents that literally ran these pillars, right? I didn't change anything. I just let them run. You know, they had leveraged client care, they had leveraged lead generation. They just had to do the appointment setting process and consultations, basically set appointments and go on consultations. That year I did 453 transactions. Let's even take my first full year, it was 44 transactions, and I had a part-time admin turn full-time. 10x the business a handful of years later to 453. I worked 42 days, and I only worked about 4 or 5 hours a day. And I made $4,000 per hour that year, and I made about like $100 per hour my first full year in real estate. How does that even happen? I was able to 10x the business, but I went from $100 per hour, I 40x'd my hourly income. It was because I was using these pillars, right? So the mindset here, and I don't want to get you all worked up, but I really do want you to think about the business as being more than what it is currently. So leverage client care, most agents will spend all of their time, they will acquire a buyer client, secure a listing, and then think the work starts. Getting a listing in MLS and the photos and the pre-inspections and the MLS remarks and working with a buyer and showing homes, it has to happen. It's critically important, but it's not where the real money is made if you're looking to build an actual business. So you may only want to get to say 250,000 GCI, you know, and maybe get a virtual assistant. You know, we acquire virtual assistants for $4 an hour to take 80% of the button clicking off of your hands. They can manage all your marketing, your social media. They can manage listing coordination, even closing coordination. You have to start to think of on the daily and on the weekly, where are you spending time where it's not all that dollar productive? Yeah, those things have to happen, but do you have to be the one doing them? So again, I don't want to, mind bender here, but I want you to think about, is your client care process built out in a way where it is a world-class service? Everything is documented. There are workflows and processes and touch points, and I'm talking like 5-star service. Usually it's not one person that can do all of these things. You will need to consider leverage in the form of, even if it's just a virtual assistant, and then ultimately maybe a junior agent that shows your buyers homes. You secure the relationship. They work with your buyers. So the reason I'm pushing you on this is because I want more for you, right? Traditional success in our industry is complete crap. 16-year veterans, according to NAR, are making less than 100,000 gross, 92,000. Or not even, but they're probably taking home, after they pay their brokers, taking home 65, 70,000, right? I want more for you than that. I want you to make multiple 6-figure take-home income. And with these 4 pillars, it's possible. I'm not going to go into the build out and what it looks like to work with us, but for some of you, this is the next step. You know that you need to take a systems approach to the business. You know you need the lead gen levers. You know you need to systemize your lead nurture sequences. The fortune is made in the follow-up. 90% of your business is made from folks that aren't ready to transact today. Your consultation frameworks are not where they should be. The pre-appointment process, you're not getting your desired commissions or transaction fees. And then ultimately, you'll get so busy that you will need leverage around client care. So if you need help with this, just go to milliondollaragentmethod.com and we're just going to have a conversation. There's a 7-minute video that you could watch. And if it resonates with you, definitely take action and book in a strategy session. Much love, much respect, and we'll see you in the next video.